Leaders aren't born, they are made. And they are made just like anything else, through hard work. And that's the price we have to pay to achieve that goal or any goal. There's perhaps no area of your life where self-discipline has a greater impact on your future than in your work. Yet, if you're like most people, from the time you start in the morning and then continuing throughout the day, you're surrounded by people and events that draw you away from doing the things that are most important. However, it is through doing your most important task that you move onward and upward quickly and dependably in your career. A group of senior executives were asked what are the most important qualities that a person would need to be promoted in your company. Of these executives, 85% agreed that the most important qualities are 1. The ability to set priorities and work on high-value tasks, and 2. The discipline to get the job done quickly and well. It seems that these two qualities are more helpful for career success than anything else a person can do. Diligent, disciplined, focused work will enable you to consistently and predictably get more done, get paid more, and get promoted faster throughout your career than any average person. I've mentioned the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, several times in my previous videos, and it applies again here. Fully 80% of the value of what you will accomplish is from the 20% of the things you do. Your job then is to identify those top 20% of your tasks and then concentrate single-mindedly on doing them quickly and well. I will be discussing time management in my another video, but for now, let's look at a flip side of the good time management versus the poor time management. According to Robert Half International, the average employee wastes about 50% of his or her time on non-work related activities. 37% of work time is wasted on idle conversations on personal subjects with co-workers, conversations that have nothing whatsoever to do with the job at hand. The other 13% of wasted time is consumed by coming in late or leaving early, by long lunches and coffee breaks, surveying the internet and reading the newspaper, or conducting personal businesses during the day. Even worse, when people who waste a lot of time actually settle down and get to work, they spend too much time on low-value tasks and activities. As a result, they get very little done, which then causes them to feel that they are under continual pressure to get caught up. Unfortunately, when you waste time at work, your work doesn't go away. It continually builds like an avalanche overhang. Deadlines come closer and closer. Stress mounts up until you finally force yourself to do that job, usually at the last minute. Then you often make expensive mistakes. There is nothing that will bring you more quickly to the attention of people who can help you than for you to develop a reputation for hard, disciplined work every hour of every day. Average employees increase their income at only about 3% per year, which is just about the rate of inflation or cost of living increase. In other words, if you're an average employee, you're not really making any more money from year to year. Rather, you're just keeping up with your expenses. But the top 20% in most fields increase their income anywhere from 10 to 25% per year, which is also compounded year after year. The top 20% of the people at work earn 80% of the money. The bottom 80% of employees have no choice but to share that 20% of the money that is left over. When I say to people in my seminars that you should set a goal to double your income in the months and years ahead, people react in different ways. Often at the break, someone will actually come up to me and say, "You don't actually understand my company. There is no way that I could double my income at my current company. They simply would not pay me that amount of money." Having heard this before, I then asked them the question, is there anyone at your company who earns twice as much as you do? The person who I am talking to will always agree that yes, there are people in my company who earn 2 or 3 times as much as I do. I then make the key point. So your company is quite willing to pay some people twice as much as they pay you. They're not willing to pay you twice as much. Why is that? Then suddenly the light goes on. This individual realizes that it is not the company that is not willing to pay the money. It is the individual who is not contributing enough to be worth that additional money. The responsibility is his, not the company's. When we coach entrepreneurs and executives and business owners, we take them through an exercise that is designed to help them double their productivity, their performance, and their output within 12 months, sometimes even within 30 days. It's very simple. Here's how it works. First, just make a list of all the things that you do in a week or a month from the time you start work on Monday morning through the end of the week. Write everything down, both small and large, including checking your email, returning phone calls. Then review the list. Ask this key question: if I could do only one thing on this list all day long, which is that one task or activity which will contribute the most value to the company? As you go over your list, the correct answer will probably jump out at you at once. Whatever it is, put a circle around it. Now ask the second question. If you could only do 2 things on this list all the day long, which would be that second activity or second task? Review your list again and identify the second most important task in terms of contribution to the company. Finally, ask the question once more. If you could do 3 things on this list all the day long, what would be the third item? So we call this the law of 3. The law of 3 says that there are 3 primary things you do that contribute 90% or more of your value. Your job is to identify those 3 critical tasks and then discipline yourself to do them all day long. All of your other minor tasks will be support tasks, complementary tasks, enjoyable tasks, or even useless tasks. There will be little things that you have often gotten into the habit of doing as a way of unconsciously avoiding the big, difficult, important tasks that make a tremendous difference in your work. Once you have made a list of all the results you feel you've been hired to accomplish, and you have determined the 3 most important things you do to justify your hourly rate, take your list of key activities to your boss and have your boss organize your job based on his or her priority. You need to do this because you must be sure. Benjamin Tregoff, co-founder of the Kepner-Tregoff consulting firm and the author of The Rational Manager, once said, "The very worst use of time to do very well what need not be done at all." Yet, it is amazing how many people are working hard on tasks that are of little or no value to their bosses. No matter how well you do an unimportant task, it does not help you. Even worse, working on low-value tasks keep you from working on the most important things you could be doing. Hard work on the wrong job can actually sabotage your career. The happiest days you will have at work will be when you're working on the task that your boss considers to be most important. The unhappiest days at work will be when you and your boss are at cross purposes, not getting along primarily because you're not completing the job that are most important to him. Your goal is to be paid more and promoted faster. Your goal is to become one of the most valuable and highly paid people in your field. Your job is first to make yourself valuable and then to make yourself indispensable to your company. This requires first and foremost that you are always working on those tasks your boss considers most important. The key to doubling your productivity and output and eventually your income is to really work all the time when you're at work. Simply put, when you work, work. Don't waste time, don't delay, don't chat with co-workers or sit around drinking coffee. Don't read the newspaper or surf the internet. When you come into work in the morning, put your head down and then work all day long. The biggest time wasters in the world of work are other people who want to talk with you, distract you, delay you, and take up the time that you should be spending on high-value tasks. When a time waster approaches you and says, "Do you have a minute to talk?" you'll reply by saying, "Yes, but not now. Why don't we talk at lunchtime or after work? In the meantime, I have to get this job finished. I have to get back to work." When you tell people that you are under the gun, that you have to get a task finished for your boss, they will usually leave you alone. If you do this often enough, they will develop the habit of leaving you alone. Instead, find someone else with whom they can waste their time with. Keep yourself motivated and focused by talking to yourself in a positive way. Your mantra from now on should be back to work, back to work, back to work. Whenever you find yourself slowing down on a major task, begin repeating to yourself those magic words, back to work. The success formula is quite simple. Whenever your boss gives you something to do, just do it immediately. Like a dog chasing after a thrown stick. immediately throw yourself at the task, complete it, and hurry back to your boss with the finished job. The next thing, ask for more responsibilities. Now these words should become your mantra. I want more responsibility. Your boss should begin to see you as the go-to guy. Whenever he had something he needed done quickly, he should pass by everyone else and give it to you. He should know that whatever he asked you to do, you would do it quickly. Here is a simple 3-part formula for a success at work. Come in a little earlier, work a little harder, and stay a little later. Now this will move you so far ahead of your competitors that they will never catch up with you. Come into work 1 hour earlier, before anyone else arrives. Use that time to plan and organize your day and get started on your most important task. Make sure that whatever time your boss comes to work, you're always there working before he arrives. Second, work a little harder. Don't waste time. Don't chat with co-workers. Work through lunchtime so that you can get on top and stay on top of your main tasks and responsibilities. Third, work 1 hour later than your co-workers. If they leave at 5 o'clock, you leave at 6. Now when you come in 1 hour earlier, work through lunch, of course after a quick grub, then work for 1 hour later. You will add 3 productive hours to your day because there are no interruptions when you work during these 3 hours. In fact, you can double or even triple your productivity, your performance and output by simply adding these 3 hours to your workday. The best news is that by coming in earlier and leaving later, you don't actually lose anything. In fact, you merely avoid the traffic tie-ups and slowdowns that most people suffer through on the way. To succeed faster than work, use the 40+ formula. Now this formula says that you can tell where you're going to be 5 years from now by looking at the number of hours that you put in today in excess of 40 hours each week. Now, if all you do is put regular 40 hours that everyone else puts in, what you will do is just to survive. Your annual increase would be 3 to 4%. You'll have a job, but your income increases will go up the same rate as everyone else. It is when you put more than 40 hours that you will give yourself an advantage over most of other people in your company and in your business. So make it a habit to do more than what you are paid for. Discipline yourself to put in more than you take out. Every hour that you work over 40 hours a week is actually an investment in your future success. The highest paid people in every field work 50 to 60 hours per week. The average self-made millionaire works 59 hours per week. They realized that in order to reap a great harvest later in their career, they had to sow a lot of seeds in the springtime of their career. And finally, you need to discipline yourself to look the part. Remember, birds of a feather flock together. When it comes to presentations, this means the people like to promote others who look like them. Your bosses are very sensitive to the appearance of their staff. They like to promote people who they are proud to introduce to their friends and colleagues. Be sure that you dress and groom in such a way that your boss will be proud to take you out for lunch and introduce you to others as a representative of his or her company. Each morning before you go to work, look at the mirror and ask yourself, do I look like one of those top people in my field? If you don't, go back and change. And keep changing until you look like one of the top people in your businesses. Learn how to dress for success. Dress for the job 2 levels above your current job. Remember that fully 95% of the first impression you make on other people will be determined by your dress and grooming. Make sure that the first impression and then the second and then the third impressions are consistent with the message you want to send to them. Many people work their entire lives without realizing that by putting forward a little extra effort, working a little harder, focusing on higher value tasks, they actually can become one of the most valuable people in their organizations. So when you discipline yourself to continually increase the value of your contribution to your company, you will put your career on the fast track and virtually guarantee yourself a wonderful future. Make a decision today that you are going to become one of the top 20% of people in your company and your industry. What should you or could do differently? Set a new work schedule for yourself and begin to start early. Identify the most important results you are expected to achieve in your job, and then work on those results all day long. Determine the person who is the best dressed and groomed in your company and resolve to use him or her as a role model for your own appearance. Decide today that from now on, you are going to actually work all the time you are at work, and that you are going to develop the reputation for being the hardest working person in your company. Develop a sense of urgency, resolve to move fast, and when you are given a job or an opportunity, do it. This can change your life. In my next video, you will learn that your work behaviors naturally determine the accession to leadership. And you will see how self-discipline is essential to fulfill your potential as a leader. So please subscribe, click on the bell icon to get my video alerts, share them as well. Until we meet in our next awesome talk, I'm Dr. Caroline Pritish with you on Learn with Carol.